Hi and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing a behind the scenes look at how I did my at home DIY maternity photo shoot. In this video I'm going to be going through my makeup choices, how I did my hair, what clothes I chose and why, for example why you should choose certain colours and styles, where you can take photos in your home, you'll be surprised there's a lot of places you can, and also going through all my camera settings in depth and how I took the photos. So it's been quite a while since I last posted. I think my last video was about our wedding, which was back in July. So it's been a while. Basically, we were very lucky and we got pregnant pretty much straight away. I'm now 30 weeks pregnant, and I was hoping to do this a little bit later, but obviously with lockdown, no professional photographers are able to work. So a lot of people are having to forego that professional photo shoot, which is a shame. But you can still do them at home by yourself, hence why I'm making this video. I'm going to give it a try myself. I've never obviously done a maternity shoot on myself before, so this is going to be a bit of a new thing for me as well. I've also unfortunately got SBD, so I was hoping to do this slightly later in pregnancy when my bum was a little bit bigger, but unfortunately I might not be able to walk by that point. So I want to do it now while I'm a little bit more mobile and I can move around. So that's why I'm doing it at 30 weeks. But generally speaking, I would recommend to do it anytime between, probably 32 might be the best. Anytime between 32 and 37 weeks. You don't want it to be too late because you don't want to be uncomfortable. But a maternity shoot can be done at any point during your pregnancy. It's whenever you feel at your best, really. So without further ado, let's crack into it. First, I'll be talking about makeup. When you're doing a photo shoot, first of all, unless you want to go proper glam, then that's absolutely fine. But I always recommend to go for a similar look that you would usually, mainly because your body has changed a lot. So you want to look back at your photos and be able to recognise yourself. You don't want to think, who's that person? Because you've got all of this crazy makeup on that you wouldn't usually wear. So it's nice to look back at the photos and think, oh, that's me. Look how awesome I looked, and you won't look like a different person. Also, you'll probably find this if you've been married before and had your makeup professionally done, you'll know that the makeup is a little bit heavier than normal. That's because when you are doing photographs, especially if you're facing into the light like I am now, it bleaches your face a little bit. So you want to put on a little bit of extra makeup just to make up for that, otherwise it will look like you're not wearing anything at all. Unless of course that's the look you're going for, then brilliant. But if not, you want to put in a little bit more, say for example, a little more contour, go a little bit darker with the eyeshadow if you want to bring your eyes out, and then it will show up better on camera. So that's what I've done today. I've just gone for quite a neutral look, but off camera I look a bit crazy, but on camera it looks quite, well, hopefully, it looks quite nice and natural as well. Now for my hair, I have my curling tongs actually in the loft. So what I've done is this morning, after I took my shower, I just half dried my hair, and then when it was still damp, I just popped it up into this bun. So a few photos I'm going to do with the bun up, but halfway through I'm going to take it down and hopefully it's nice and wavy and it'll have more of a natural wave to it. Obviously if you want more kind of concentrated waves and curls, then you can just do the same thing but plait your hair instead, and that'll give you the same effect without having to put heat on your hair and things. So that's just a little tip as well. If you don't want to go the whole hog and spend ages curling your hair, that's quite an easy thing to do and it'll look really nice on camera as well. Now onto clothing. So this is a big one. You might find there's a particular dress you want to wear through all of your photos, or you might want to change outfits. That's what I'm going to be doing today. So one thing to consider when you're looking at your outfits is what you're going to be posed in front of. So I'm doing this at home and I've got a lot of like neutral coloured walls. So what I'll do is I'll wear something that's contrasting to whatever I'm sitting in front of. So one of the photos is going to be in front of a white wall. So I'll be wearing a black tight dress. The reason you want to wear black against white, or maybe a dark colour against white, is because it just separates you from the background a lot better, and it also defines your bump a lot better as well. So basically the higher the contrast, the better. Same goes for colours as well. At the moment my favourite combo is dark blue and mustard yellow. That looks really cool. I insert a photo here of a photo I did through the first lockdown. I did like a selfie kind of project. So this is one of the ones I took, and you can see like the contrast is really nice. I just stand out in front of the blue wall and it just makes it a lot more interesting to look at. If I was wearing green or something, it probably wouldn't have had the same effect. So if you go for opposite colours on the colour wheel, that can look really good as well. So in regards to posing, a really good source of inspiration is probably Pinterest. I spend most of my life on there. You can just Google maternity photos and it will come up with so many entries, and it will give you some ideas of poses you can do yourself. What I've done is I've saved my favourites and I've just popped them up on my laptop there, so I've got quick access to them all at the same time, and you can have a look through and basically tick off as you go each pose, and obviously you can play around and see what works best for you in the moment as well. So the first photos I'm going to do are going to be in front of this wall here in the kitchen. That's the biggest white wall we have, so it'll have to do. And then I'm going to be doing a silhouette photo as well here against my patio doors. I'll show you how to do that really, really easily as well. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to replicate as well. It looks very confusing and complicated, but honestly it takes seconds to do and it's really, really simple as well. So this is my camera setup. So at the moment I've got a 50mm lens on there. So I usually keep my ISO anywhere between 200 and 400 depending on how bright it is. I try and keep the shutter speed at 60 just so I don't get any motion blur. And the main setting I change is the f-stop. So the lower the number, the more blurred the background is going to be. So when you change it, for example, up to f16, basically everything in the photo will be in focus. And if you go all the way down to the lowest, which on this lens is 1.8, then only the front part of me will be in focus and the background will be completely blurred. So that's the best setting to have because it draws you away from the background. Now I'm going to pop mine on f4 and start there and then see how we go, and then I'll change the settings as I go if needs be. Now if you have an iPhone and not a camera like I do, then you can also change the aperture on the iPhone, especially the newer versions. So if you open up your camera and go to portrait mode, up in the top right here is a little F. If you select that, you can scroll on the wheel and then change the f-stop. Obviously this isn't the same quality as a lens. This is software making the background blurred on the iPhone as opposed to the actual lens doing it. So it won't be as good an effect, but unless you're blowing up the photo huge to print and just using it on social media, then to be honest most people wouldn't know the difference. So that's a handy little trick on the iPhone. But if you don't have that feature on your phone, that's absolutely fine. Most camera phones nowadays have quite a lot of basic editing software on it, so you can brighten things, and even Instagram you can blur the background as well, so you can just have a play around with the photos if you don't have that feature. So those are all the essentials that you need to figure out before the shoot. So now we've got all of that sorted, we can jump right into it. just ran out of battery, so snap break. Yes, you're allowed to laugh at my waddle. Luckily, once the baby's born, it should go. So I'm just about to do the silhouette setup. So what you need is a big white sheet, and you want to open up your patio door if you have one, or open up a big wide window, and then you want to just fold the sheet over the top and then close it. Try and keep it nice and straight. I haven't done a very good job there, so there's not many wrinkles in it, otherwise it's going to look pants. In hindsight, I really should have ironed this before I did this, but you get the idea. So hanging up the sheet creates like a diffusion in the background, and it means that you'll be dark in front of it. So for your camera settings, you want a lower aperture for this. So instead of going for f4, you want something around f8, f9, depending on the light coming through. That way you'll be dark against the background as opposed to bright white. Oh, right. That's me all done. I was going to do some more, but I'm knackered. If you're pregnant, you'll know what I mean. This is why I advise you don't do it too late in the pregnancy, especially if you're doing your own DIY shoot, because basically everything just makes you out of breath. Also with my SPD, walking is very, very painful, so as you probably saw with my walking stick. But luckily that should go as soon as the baby's born, which is good. But yeah, I think I'm happy with what I've got so far. If anyone's got any questions about anything that I may not have covered during that, please comment down below, and then I will try my best to answer. But hopefully that was nice and straightforward and should give you some ideas for your own maternity shoot. So that's all from me. So have some fun and happy shooting, and have a good day.